Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Alumni Series. And today I have a great guest with me who had a great experience of working in Big Four firm Ernst Young in three different countries in Pakistan, UAE, and Saudi. His entire career he spent in the audit firm and a very big profile. He did his ACCA. He's a finalist of ICAW and also did his master's from UK. Great student of mine, a very good friend, and a great alumni whose journey is really inspiring. Recently, I was in discussion with Faraz, and I admitted in his journey that he has enjoyed his life as a journey, as a complete pathway rather than some short race or a sprint. He went for his master's after joining his corporate career. So, a very inspiring journey for all of you guys. Obviously, it's a long discussion, and if I'll continue my discussion, it will go on and will take a lot of time. First of all, I want to thank Faraz that you took out time on a weekend, and obviously it's very much difficult for you guys from your busy schedule to take out time. And obviously here in UAE, it's first Ramadan, so you took out time. And first of all, I want to thank you for taking out time.
Thank you. Thank you, Owais, for having me here. And Ramzan Mubarak to everyone celebrating in UAE and Middle East countries, and also to people who will be celebrating in Pakistan today.
So, Faraz, coming to your journey, your inspirational journey that you did your ACCA, then you moved towards the professional qualification of ICAW, became the finalist of ICAW, started your career in the firm, did job in Pakistan, then moved to UAE, Saudi. Then you told me that you took a break, you went for masters. So, how was it like? Doing the masters after joining your practical life, taking out a break from that, and obviously going for your real dream. Like, okay, if I have a dream to do my masters from university, it's very rare that people pursue their dreams once they join their corporate career. So you took a break, went for that masters and everything. So I want that if you can share your journey with our audience. Obviously, there are a lot of things in your journey about the firm, about your careers in Big Four, but we'll go towards that in the later phase. First of all, I want that if you can share your journey, that how you did your ACCA, then the corporate career, then a break, went for masters, and all of that. Please.
Hmm. Yeah. So my journey has been like after my A levels, I was in the midst of identifying whether to go for CA or ACCA. And I opted for ACCA because it's obviously a global qualification. And if my idea was to go out of Pakistan as soon as I'm done. So I consulted many people on what is the best way to go around it. And I figured out that ACCA is global. Even I wouldn't say or undermine CA in any way because both are equally beneficial for the students here. And since it has global reach and I wanted to move out, so it didn't matter much whether I was doing ACCA or ICAW. So I opted for it after my A levels and continued my journey, complete journey with Mirchawala. With you being one of my first teacher, maybe you were teaching there for the first time as well. After my ACCA, I was looking because I was surrounded with people who were very inspiring and who were very into ACCA and willing to do job as soon as possible. And they all got started, and I was not even near to that towards the completion of ACCA. So I was very much, you can say, desperate to join anywhere. But my dream was, I don't know, for some reason, some odd reason, I only wanted to join EY and no other Big Four firm. So that is how I started with EY. Before that, I got to some interviews as well, some at some other firms that are local, as well as some firms, or even started doing some job towards the end of my ACCA until I got my final exam results. And that was something I started out of desperation, and that has a learning as well for me.
So, Faraz, one very important thing that, okay, you started with your career in Ernst& Young, obviously a dream job where you dream to go. And most of the students doing these chartered accountancy careers obviously have a dream to go in these big four firms. You joined that, you moved towards Saudi and UAE market, and then you took a break and went for masters. So, what made you decide that, okay, I want to take a break from my career and go for the masters in UK?
But this could be quite long because it has its roots from the days of my A levels where I wanted to do and go and enjoy the university life as well. But my ambition was to have a professional qualification at the same time. So I opted for ACCA rather than opting for any university or something. But I had that in me that I have to go somewhere to enjoy that life or something of that sort. So and to be honest, like at the time when I was completing my A levels, I didn't have those funds as well to go out and join any university in UK. So that's how I decided, like, okay, once I am done or have enough to support myself, I can go on but everything happens for a reason as well, I believe. Then I wouldn't say it now because I'll let you question something around my journey through EY and what led me to UK then.
Now, Faraz, your journey is a real inspiration and a real answer to you, to those who think that, okay, if we don't have the resources now, if we don't have the right circumstances now, we can never pursue our dream. It's not like that. If we want to pursue something, a life is a long journey. Like I always say to my students that it's not like 1 or 2 years which you have to live. No one knows about the death,
Mm,
but normally a person lives for 70 years, and 70 years is a long journey in which you can complete your dreams even at the age of 40. Like if you want to do something, you will do it. And going for a university life at a later phase of life is obviously a real enjoyment when you have a bit of financial freedom and you are doing it on your own. So obviously your journey is a real example that things can be done in the later phase of life. It's no rush that, okay, we have to do it now only. Now, Faraz,
Yeah,
one very, yeah.
yeah, I have always been a believer of go with the flow.
Yeah.
So let whatever comes to you and don't rush for things. So when I started my ACCA, the only thing I rushed in was to complete my exams. And Alhamdulillah, I passed my exams, all of it, in first attempt. Uh, and but even then, like people were giving four papers in one sitting or something. I opted for, okay, I'll go with three each time and complete it in its due course. So give yourself time as well. Give yourself enough comfort as well, but don't be too complacent as well.
Here, Faraz, for go with the flow thing, I always say that if we look forward 10 years, we cannot connect the dots that why the things
Mm.
are happening. But if we see back a decade, if we see back 10 years
Mm.
back, and then we'll feel that, oh, everything was happening to meant to be happen. Like the dots
Mm.
get connected themselves. Like, for example, when we see back 5 years, we see that COVID was a game changer in our lives. Like COVID enabled us to enter these online markets. We were a small institution of Karachi. But while standing in those times of COVID, no one would have thought that after 5 years, what would be happening. So it's always easier to look back and connect the dots in the back. And
Mm.
those all get connected, and you feel that everything was happening for a reason. But it's
Mm.
always the present time in which we get frustrated, we get stressed, that why the things are going in the bad way. Now, one important question, Faraz, which I asked you before the start of this podcast, that when you went to UK, why you came back here to UAE, why, like, what was the reason which you like about the UAE market specifically? You told me, and I also know nowadays because I'm living here, but I want the audience to listen it from you because you have experienced the big four firm, you have experienced the UK, you have went to that university. What was the primary thing due to which you rate the Gulf market, this GCC market, as an important one, despite that you don't get a passport here? So, what was the
Yeah.
reason of coming back and all?
Well, the major reason for being in this Gulf market is your salary. It doesn't get taxed. This is one of the major reason. Plus, when I came to UAE, it was still in that phase of growing. It still is because of this all the changes that is happening post-COVID with AI and the initiatives by government taken here. So it's still an ongoing thing. Plus the field I am in, which is financial advisory, it's something which I believe will never uh, be in its
Like its demand will always be higher. There will be
yeah,
acquisition.
there will
Money
always be
will
demand for
be
consultants here.
always. Yeah.
So apart from that, if you have lived in UAE, the lifestyle that you get here, the facilities, the easiness of living that you get here is something which when I went to UK, I didn't find. And hence I say like if you have lived in UAE, maybe even for a year or so, it's very much difficult for you unless you have some circumstances to go out of here, or maybe you have children who you want some passport thing or something. Unless you have those circumstances, you wouldn't want to move out.
Agreed. And one of my friend, he went to UK for a UK passport. He lived there for 5 years. The day he got the passport, he didn't even wait for the passport for his wife. He just left UK. He came to UAE. He said that I don't want to live there because he said that I cannot save anything. Like it's expensive. There is so much tax. And after all of that, if you look at the law and order of the UAE, without any taxes, that's far better than that Europe side and everything. Like people from Pakistan obviously feel other countries as very good, but still when you compare UAE with any country, obviously there is no comparison. Now for us
Yeah,
coming
it's
to your,
on top of the list.
yeah, that's very important, the comfort zone which you are getting. Now, for us, the most important question, which a lot of people are interested in, that um, how you joined EY. You told us about the Pakistan, obviously that was the trainee route, but then how you joined the EY, UAE, the Saudi market, and all of that. Like how you gained the experience of the global firm and those who are willing to come to these markets like UAE and the GCC region. Obviously, there are visa difficulties. Those are not in anyone's hand. But apart from that, if anyone want to come in these markets of the GCC region, what should be the route? What skills, qualification, or any experience they should be bringing in to join this market?
Hmm. So it, I came to UAE, and the route for it was obviously EY. When I started my career with EY, one of the things in my mind was EY offers its trainees the opportunity for secondment. And I got one secondment in after joining for a couple of after 2 years in EY, Pakistan. I got an opportunity to work in Saudi. So I went there. I tried my luck there, but it was only 2 years in EY, so they wanted my contract to be completed as well. I came back to Pakistan, served for one more year. Then I got another opportunity from EY to move to Abu Dhabi office in financial advisory for another secondment. And when I came here, because my contract was already getting over, I found like when you come to a place and you prove yourself, you work and you show them what you are capable of, people here value this. Uh, and I tried my luck here. I applied for the open positions in audit here, and it's all because of the mobility that we have in terms of what EY provides. It was easier for me to move out. If you ask me for someone who is not into these programs, is not with EY, or is someone who is in the industry or something, it used to be like if you have experience, if you are good at your work, it was easier for you to move out to UAE market. Uh, when I initially came to UAE in 2011 as well. when I was doing my A levels. And when I came here, I got into one of the internships at one of the media house, and there most of the the wide understanding was that if you have experience, you are good fit for UAE. But UAE and the world has globalized a lot. I would say glocalized a lot. Everything is now global yet local. So a lot of people have come into UAE, so the competition is fierce. Uh, Everyone is willing to work for at competitive rates, at competitive salaries, and it's getting difficult now, I would say, specifically for UAE, but the Gulf is open. The Saudi is expanding, Qatar is expanding. So my suggestion, I am not someone who would say, okay, don't come to UAE. Always say that if you have that passion or you want to move out, the first thing you should do is move out for your better future. But you should also not follow the path of what you have seen others are doing. Uh, Channelize your options, I would say. Look out for better opportunities. If UAE is that thing, then go for it. But if UAE is not the thing for you, it's the Gulf is open. The wider world is open for you.
I agree, and that these Saudi, Qatar markets, these are very growing markets, specifically the Bahrain market, and people are going towards those market, and I completely agree. And when we talk about the Riyadh, the Saudi, the Riyadh market, that's very much expanding. The students are going there a lot. One very important question for us that people in the chartered accountancy have that thing that, okay, if you are a chartered accountant, if you are in a firm, you have to be in audit and assurance. It's external audit, a life or otherwise, everything is dead. Like there is nothing else in the world. Whereas I personally believe that these other segments of the firm, like advisory, forensic, ERP implementation, they have a great future ahead. And I personally feel that audit career is a lot of stressful career, a career with a lot of responsibility as you move ahead in your journey. Like when you become a director or a senior manager or a partner, you have a lot of burden on your shoulders, whereas other departments have a lesser burden. And even in the developed countries, we see that the students and the new guys are not willing to join the audit career, considering the stressful life in that journey. So you pursued your entire career in financial advisory, as you told us in the start also. So in your opinion, like, is that old saying that if you're a chartered accountant and if you're in external audit, you are nothing. Like, is that thing still valid, or what's your opinion considering your own journey?
So my own journey, I started with EY in audit as well, and the thought process behind doing this was the same as you explained. Because before joining EY, I was on a contractual role at KPMG Pakistan, and that was in advisory. But somehow it was in my mind as well, no, audit is the thing that I want, and that's where I want to start my career with. And the reasons are pretty much sane as well here, because I would say that you join audit because of the fact that you get more exposure, more clients, more scenarios. Different clients have different scenarios, different problems, different. You learn a lot in audit, no doubt about it. And that's why when I moved from KPMG, yet I was offered the role for advisory as well. I chose EY because of that audit thing. But now I feel that because we usually have, at that time, maybe we didn't have too much information about it, too much knowledge about what goes around in EY overall. So the field is open. You are an accountant, you can go into financial advisory, you can go into transactions advisory, uh, you can go into strategic advisory, you can go into CCAS, which is climate change and sustainability. So the field is wide open. And I would say when you talk about pressure situations in audit, it's yes, it can get a lot hectic. And from my personal experience, I used to work till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, then go at 9 a.m. again. And it was not for a day or two or a week or two, it was kind of repetitive exercise. Uh, but the field is open, so you can go into any field, just explore your options, figure out what you are more interested in. If audit is your calling, go for audit. If advisory is your calling, go for advisory. It's basically what fits you best.
I agree that you shouldn't have a regret, and if you are enjoying that field, obviously that's very important. Like many of the people don't enjoy audit, but they go in that pressure that okay, we have to go audit and we have to go things like that. But obviously, exploring is very important.
Mm,
And I always say to my students that while you are doing ACC or once you are done with it, do some internships, explore the
mm.
journey. Like when you are seeing the things from the outside, you feel that okay, it will be very much enjoyable, it will be very good, but when you actually pursue that thing, sometimes the things don't move in the way, and the careers which you don't like, they may become favorable. Maybe you get start enjoying when you enter in those things. One very important thing you just referred about the sustainability thing, and I'm very much into it, and I believe that it's the next big career. Like the people are moving towards the sustainability a lot, and when we talk about the carbon credits and the things like that. So when you look at the UE market, which is obviously a lot much developed and much ahead than the markets of our Pakistan and India, and obviously it is connected with the international trends. So in your opinion, like this sustainability and these things, like students doing their ACCA journey, like ACCA itself is offering a diploma in sustainability and all, so what do you believe that is this career will be growing, and is it something which will be worthwhile in future?
Yeah, it is currently growing and exponentially growing, I would say. Uh, a lot of engagements because being in EY, we get to know that how we are progressing with all the projects coming in from the clients. And I would say a lot of over the past 2 years or 3 years, this field has exponentially grown, particularly in UAE. And it will continue to grow because of all the agreements like Paris Agreement took place. Uh, so the world is moving towards sustainability, and all of this has become more and more important after the COVID. People have realized how to manage their lives sustainably, how to live sustainably, and how to have better lifestyles. So when people value these terms, companies have to focus as well. The organizations have to focus as well because that is what investors want at the end of the day.
I completely agree with it. Recently, I was at the leadership conference in Pakistan, and the representatives of the WWF were available, and there were a lot of companies, and there was a lot of debate going on about this sustainability thing. And when I listened to that, I felt that yes, now it's something which the investors and the bankers will be imposing a condition like, okay, if you want a finance, get your sustainability audit done. And for that, there the role of the accountants and the auditors will become very important, and obviously a huge world will get open where obviously the financiers will start imposing the restrictions on the companies. The companies will start taking this seriously about the sustainability thing. And the thing which you mentioned about the COVID, that's really important. That after COVID, we realized that the people with whom we live, the family people, they all are good people. We start seeing them. We start looking around the environment. We start looking around the nature, and we understood the importance of that life. Like, for example, if I give my own example, like I was a guy who used to teach 14 hours a day, and I used to do it 7 days a week, and I can do it for 365 days. But after COVID, I haven't taken the physical classes for even 4 hours. Like I cannot take that. I cannot understand that life that in which I'm doing a lot of work and I don't have time for myself. I don't have time for my family or for the things which matter. So yes, after COVID, this awareness about the environment, society, the sustainability progress, that has created a lot of impact, and I must agree. One very important
And
question for us.
being
Yeah.
accountant, yeah, sorry, being accountant, like you said, like students here would be who are listening would know that there are IFRS standards as well relating to the disclosure requirements now that are coming in. So obviously, the investors have pushed in, and the ISB, the Standard Setter Board, has pushed for it as well, and listened to the call of investors and implemented this as a solution that we give those disclosures to the investors.
I completely agree with this. And Paraz, one very important question, which is the hot question of this generation. That, sir, artificial intelligence is coming, AI is coming, and it will replace everyone, and we will get unemployed, and everything will end. Like, you are in that market, which I must say that's ahead from Pakistan 10 years. It is dealing with international markets, it is more into the technology. So, what do you believe that the impact of artificial intelligence will have on the accountants? How the profession will be evolving? Like, I particularly believe that the profession won't be ending, the profession will be evolving. Like,
Hmm.
recently, when I was in a speech at this leadership conference, I highlighted that when the first time the computer was invented, that evolved the entire career. Like, people used to maintaining manual records, and then the computer came, then Excel came, then ERP came. So things evolved. Obviously, with artificial intelligence, the things will evolve. So, what is your opinion on this? Like, how it will impact the accountants and the auditors and everyone?
Hmm. So, yeah, I'll answer this from the days of my audit back in 2015. When I joined EY, we were doing these audits with documentation being maintained on paper, physical paper. Then EY came up with a solution that, okay, there is a no paper policy and everything has to be digitally maintained. Every invoice record or anything that you audit, you don't have, there should be no paper policy. So we evolved from that physical paper to digital paper. The storage is increased. Now we, post-COVID, the world has paced, I would say. It now we are evolving at a much higher rate than ever. And when, because this question keeps nagging me as well sometimes, that will AI replace me one day, or will my consultancy or the advice that I give will no longer be required? So when I was doing this MBA, I asked this question to one of my professor, and they answered like, AI will not replace you, but someone who is using AI will definitely replace you. So it's all about, when the world is evolving, when they are coming up with better techniques to do something, you have to evolve yourself. You have to make sure that you are ahead of the curve. You are aligning with global trends. You are progressing. You're learning new techniques. Even when it comes to advisory, there is one small example I would say. Like, in every field, this AI is coming in. Like, I was talking to another guy in forensics, and he told me, like, because in forensics you scrutinize a lot. So what happens is, when you are at a client, and maybe a very simple example I would give, just to make it very clear for everyone as well. So, for example, there are a lot of invoices that you need to check. Now, how would you ensure these invoices are not duplicate, that are submitted by some employee or some supplier? You use AI. Now, AI is something which helps you identify the physical invoices that are duplicated. So it's not something that has replaced our job. It has just made our job easier in identifying those things. So it's, rather than being tagging AI as a replacement tool, we can say it's a navigating tool or an agent that helps us in our daily lives now.
I completely agree with this, and I always say that rather than considering AI as your enemy, considering it as a threat, that okay, I have to resist with it. I'll not allow AI to enter my world. You have to consider it as a tool, as an ally, which you can use to perform your functions in a much better way. Like even if I talk about our teaching, I was giving an example that there are some markets where we cannot enter due to the language barriers. Like for example, if I want to teach Arabs here, I cannot teach them because I don't know Arabic, and they may not be very good at English, and they may prefer learning in their local language. Like for example, when we are giving lectures in Pakistan, we prefer it giving in Urdu. So due to this AI, now it's possible that all of my lectures which are in English, they can get translated in Arabic, in Chinese. Like my lip sync will also get matched with that, and it will just feel that I'm talking in Chinese. So that enable us as a teaching institution to use this AI and to enter those markets. Like for example, we had to record our lectures in two languages, Urdu and English. So now this AI can do this thing that I just record it in English and it will just translate it to Urdu. So we have to think, we have to evolve that, okay, how these things will be helpful in our daily life and routine life. Like today only, one of my friend was saying that I meet him in the masjid, and he said that had to write a letter and my grammar wasn't good. So I told my son that, okay, please correct my things. So he just sent me the chat GPT link, and he said that, okay, whatever your letter is, put it here and it will do the grammatical corrections and it will give you back. So he said that when that chat GPT gave me that letter, that was mind blowing. It was something very much different. So yes, these are the tools which are very much helpful in our practical life. Now, two questions from the students who are listening to us. They both have a common question, that they both are doing the job in the corporate career, like in a good companies, obviously in the start of their journey, and they are asking your opinion, like whether we should continue with our corporate life or it's better to switch to firm, because obviously when you switch to firm you have to compromise in your salary and everything, because corporate is paying you better, you are set there in the life. So what is your opinion, for us, that a person who is doing a job in corporate, should he switch to firm? Is it better and important for him if he want to move abroad or move forward in his career?
So I also faced this dilemma when I was in a position to either join the corporate at the start of my career or join EY. And the it's only the stipend that you get. It won't even cover your fuel expenses. But now it depends on you on what you want to achieve. So give up now or give up later. But I won't say that corporate, if you are in corporate and you won't succeed, you can do that as well. But if you want mobility, as I said at the start of this session, that EY gave me that mobility to move around Saudi or even for that sake, where I am right now, UAE. So if you want that mobility and reachability throughout, then maybe Big Four is the answer for you. But if you want to stay where you are, focus on that particular field for that particular industry, it might fit you as well. So it's very subjective thing on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. If you want mobility, then Big Four is the call, but mobility is not restricted if you are already doing that corporate job. Uh, so,
I completely agree that, Faraz, if an individual is planning to go for abroad, then obviously the Big Four is the right thing, because it has that global recognition. Because the Big Four in Pakistan is the Big Four globally. Like it's the
hmm.
same thing, and your experience will be recognized there. Now, one question from a student who is just on our Zoom meeting also, that, sir, what is the right time to join the firm and these things, like whether we should join after passing all the exams, or in your opinion we should join it when we are studying?
So now I'm not sure like exactly what the requirements are. When I was doing my ACCA, there was some restrictions on us to join unless we complete ACCA. So for us, the answer was clear: complete your ACCA as soon as possible and then join the firm. But now, if you can, because it happens all the time that all the CA students who join the firm are already studying as well. And with four attempts now with ACCA, I think it's easier for you to join firm, keep working, and keep studying as well. because it when we joined the firm, what we felt was we had studied everything, but now the practical life was there. So we were not really able to connect the dots of what we studied to what we were practicing. However, the CA students who were practicing as well as studying were able to do that. And that I feel is the best point. So I would say personally that okay, if you are studying and if you can implement that study to your life, that gives you that practical experience. Because one of the things I would say what helped me pass my ICW exams was I was working already. So the papers I could relate to my practical life, practical scenarios. And when you give practical scenarios in your answers to the examiner, they know you're not just making this up or rectifying the things.
Yes, agreed. And I will completely agree with this. Like, for example, even in the professional papers of the ACCA, the examiner asks a student to act like a manager. And I always say that a
Yeah,
student who is answering the question is not even a junior. So
yeah,
he do not know that what he has to write or how he has to draft. So I completely agree with this that if a student gets an opportunity during his studies to join the firm or do something, that's very important. And even I always say that even if you have to do it for free, do it. Join the internships for free. Go for big four firms. Like when I came to UAE and I talked with one of my friends here, I asked that, okay, some of my students are asking for internship. Is there any possibility? They said, yes, there is a possibility. Send them to come. I said that, how much you will pay? They said, we will not pay anything. He has to come for free. I said, why? He said that first 6 to 9 months he has to work for free. Maybe he should pay us that we are giving him the opportunity. But after those 6 to 9 months, when he has the experience of this market, then they will look good asking the money. So I completely agree with it that yes, that experience and those internship matter a lot. And even those who are going for the university and the graduation, like doing their bachelors in the university, they do the free internships in their summer programs.
yeah,
Those are
yeah.
part of their course. But these ACCA guys and the chartered accountancy, they want to earn. And I see people criticizing that why the firm is paying me so low during my articleship. So I always say that they are teaching you and they are paying you. It should be like that. They
Yeah,
should be charging you. Like we
yeah.
taking the
I would
classes and
say
charge.
that it's part of what we study. Like the cost benefit analysis is within our bloodstream now. So we always think in the financial metrics point of view. However, even I used to question that, oh, this is too low to be working, going in every day, clocking in 10 to 12 hours a day, and then getting nothing in return. But it's all what you learn and how you can capitalize on that learning to have that kind of future in terms of earning whatever you can earn. So it's all about giving up now and enjoy later.
I always say that just don't think that in ACC there are 13 exams. Consider that, okay, there are 14 exams, 13 exams which you have to pass, and one exam which you have to work 3 years. Once you pass
Hmm.
that phase, obviously you have a great career. That's very important that you have to pass through that process. So, Faraz, I must say that your opinion, your input was really valuable. Your journey is really inspirational. And I myself felt very much motivated when I heard that, okay, you did masters after joining the corporate career. Like, I remember I did my ECCA, joined the corporate career, joined the teaching thing. And then later phase, I decided that, okay, I have to do the University of London MSc program. I enrolled for it, but I didn't complete it. Like,
Actually,
I
when I went for my MBA, the turning point, or I would say the triggering point for doing and opting for that was to move away from audit. Because I have worked in audit for 5 years and I was tagged as auditor. And I didn't want that to happen. I never wanted to pursue the dream of an audit partner or something to start with. I just wanted that experience, that wider experience. And when I was not getting out of it, the only way I could think of is was to go out, make a mark in another thing, maybe MBA, or maybe even if it is something now, if you can say something in artificial intelligence or data analytics, these are something which people can pursue. And then I wanted to move out of audit So I pursued that path and then came to financial advisory.
So yes, and going for your dream and planning it, and that's very important. And not getting stressed out, looking for the options. Like okay, you wanted to move out of audit, you went for MBA, you planned a journey, and then you came back and landed in the dream job which you wanted. So that's very important that students nowadays plan their journey, look for better options, don't get stressed out very soon. And since
Mm,
nowadays it's time of social media, there is a lot of information, a bombardment of information. You have to pick up the right information which is relevant to you and filter out everything. Like it's not about finding new things. I always say that nowadays it's about filtering the things. Like okay, what is
mm,
important for me and what is not important for me, otherwise you will be in continuous stress and pressure. So
mm.
Faraz, thank you for taking out time, and it was a
Thank you.
really good and great discussion. Your journey of Big Four firm, you advise the students that how they have to move to the Gulf market, and very importantly nowadays when there are some visa issues, especially for the Pakistani students here in UAE, you advise that okay, there's a big Gulf market and obviously a growing Gulf market which students can also pursue. And I always say that rather than going directly abroad, gain some experience and then go for the broad market, because there's a lot of competition here in these markets. You are competing with Europeans, you are competing with Indians, Nepalis, and everyone. And I always say that we South Asians have a disadvantage that we lack in the soft skills. We are very good technically, we are very much competent, but those Western market is very good in the soft skills. So
Mm.
they get an edge there. So along with the qualification, it's very important that we work on the soft skills also. So thank you, Faraz,
Definitely,
again.
definitely.
Yeah, Faraz. And
Yeah,
any
yeah,
last
I
piece of
agree.
advice
I
for the
agree
students,
on
Faraz?
this soft skill point because the the qualification or any technical skill can get you to the interview table, but beyond that, it's all about how your soft skills are, how you manage people, and how you interact with people, how you dress up, and all that stuff then comes into play.
I completely agree. And I always feel here that we are short in temperament. We are not very good at communication. So these are the areas in which, and those who are from the South Asian market and they've prospered, they've worked on this area. The Western market is good at this, but they are technically weak. They may not be very much technically competent as we guys are because we are inherently hard workers. We
Hmm.
Pakistani, Indian, Nepalis are inherently hard workers, and we have that thing in blood. So thank you for us for taking out time, and it was a great discussion. And I believe that the audience and the aspiring chartered accountants and those the future partners and the future CEOs, they may have gained benefit from this discussion. So once
Yeah.
again, thank you all, and thank you for us for taking out time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.